All right, today, Pat's rubber leg. This is in the flight. This is the fly fish food variation. It's in the fly fish foods, small chenille, black tobacco, UV orange legs. Although I don't really think the legs matter much. I've caught them grizzly flutter legs, round rubber, brown, green, black, chartreuse. It doesn't matter. I like the UV orange for one reason only, is when I'm fishing super clear water, I can see the fly come by me if it's close enough to me, and that really helps me set my depth. Tend to run this under airlock bobber. I really like the airlock bobbers. It fishes really well when it's suspended. Two reasons I like it suspended. For one, I seem to catch more fish than bouncing the bottom with it. So that's the one reason. The biggest reason is, though, one of the primary rivers I fish, it is a lava rock tube, lava rock base. It gets a bunch of junk caught up in that lava rock, all the holes and everything. And on a typical week, I tend to go through about 5 or 6 of these. Oops, gets talking, forget the bead. And that's just because they hang up on everything. If I'm wet wading, I tend to be able to get a lot of them back, but I don't wear waders on this river. It's a real small river. I'd rather just walk alongside it, and it's grazed down enough I can fish it just fine. So I'm using a 1730 Daiichi, size 8. This already has the sweet little curve in it that you need for any stonefly. You can take any streamer hook, extra long shank, 3X, 4X, bend it. That works really well. I've done that in the past. These Daiichis are wicked sharp, though, and I've had great luck with them. Wapsi Bead. I don't use tungsten on these. These are so big and so heavy already. They tend to sink really well. So already been tying a bunch of these today, and if you tie them just right, you end up with some leg sections that are about that long. Typically just fold one of those around to use as the antenna, and then I can use the other ones as legs. So slide your bead back to the back of the hook, tie up on the front of the shank right behind the eye. I tend to tie right up to the eye on this one. That just gives it a nice little bed, pops the antenna up over the eye, makes your life a lot easier to tie the hook on. Take one of my other sections, or just take some grizzly flutter legs. If you ever look at stoneflies in the larvae phase, they have really long front antenna and pretty good sized legs. So I tend to tie my fronts on pretty long. The tails, a lot shorter. So my tails, I have enough little scraps just laying around that I just use those. I never really care what it looks like under my thread here, as long as the legs are secured on there, because the bead's going over the top and then you're wrapping in chenille. So this is an easy fly to tie because you don't have to worry about it. So 4, 5, 6, I never count my whip finish turns. Whip finish, slide your bead back over the top, start your thread behind the bead. Using UTC140, it is about the only thread I use, unless I'm tying some pretty small dries. Then I'll throw on some 70. Really like UTC. Obviously, there's some better stuff out there, but for just an everyday cheap tie, UTC works just fine. So let me find some scraps here. There's one, long enough. 2, okay, perfect. So I just like a little bit of orange coming off for the tail. Hold this together. And I really don't even worry about like the tag ends coming down. Need new vise. This one doesn't hold hooks anymore. Alright, so where's my chenille? Fly fish foods, small chenille. They're stonefly chenille. This is black and tobacco. It's as good as it gets. I go through this stuff. Here's the black fuchsia. That's a fun one too. Every now and again they'll start hitting that black and fuchsia. I've got a seal and brown. Good luck finding it. I am in the process of moving all my fly tying stuff because I moved it off the kitchen table where I'd taken over and my wife said no to my office, and now it's taken over my office and my office is a wreck. So tie up, I like to go right about to where the bend in the hook shank is. So like I said, these two legs, these are almost the perfect leg length for the legs. Get that one centered, but pull it over. I only do one turn, and then with your thread on the back side of the hook, do the same thing. Pull it up to the body, and then just wrap through, and then secure them. Couple wraps, pretty easy. And then go and antenna in there. Go in front of them. And then build up a little taper. I don't think it matters. I've caught fish on a taper and without a taper, and well, you can't tell the difference, but because I'm trying to become a better fly tyer, I'll lay down a taper. Alright, and then I don't know why I started counter wrapping everything that I wrap on a hook shank. And for whatever reason, my tail got off center, whatever. For whatever reason, this is how I do it, and this seems to work. The one problem with these legs already cut is you tend to end up fighting them, getting them wrapped into everything. But not a big deal. Let's go one more back there. Let's go one more right there. And then the one thing about wrapping chenille over these legs is you can kind of control how they lay just by how you wrap your chenille. Take one more in the center. So one thing is if you go pull stoneflies off the river, they are funky looking. They never really look too uniform. And then just wrap up to your bead. So I have times where my chenille looks all jacked up, my legs look all jacked up, I'm missing an antenna. I don't really care. They fish. So 4 or 5 whip finish right behind the bead. This one I didn't wrap the chenille up quite far enough, but hell, I'm gonna lose it today anyways, so who cares. And I don't super glue resin, nothing. No fly tying cement. I'm gonna lose these. I've got 4 so far. I will lose these probably all today. So there it is, Pat's rubber leg, ugly bug. It is the ultimate fish catcher on most of Idaho's rivers. Anybody that wants to argue that with me, I will laugh at them. There's 2 flies I fish 90% of the time on moving water. It is a size 8 foam hopper. I used to fish a size 10. I went to size 8 because I got sick of catching whitefish. Whitefish are fun until you're fishing a river that's chock full of them and you want to catch cutthroat or whatever else is in there, and the size 8 they can't get in their mouth. The second fly I fished is this Pat's rubber leg. I fish it year round. Fish hit it. Some of the biggest browns I've ever caught. Been on that Pat's rubber leg. So till next time, see ya.